welcome to this week's media news with me, Gareth O'Connor. I'm going to kick things off this week with some good news for Carat globally. Carat, it's been a great year for us globally, it must be said. Won a lot of awards, got a lot of recognition, won some big clients. But Adweek have just named Carat Media Agency of the Year, which is wonderful, mainly for stuff that goes on in the States. But a lot of that stuff filters through here, particularly with the likes of Holden. But really, it's been a big year, lots of award-winning work, some big wins, but it's all been cemented in smart, insight-driven media thinking across paid, earned, and owned. So yeah, great year for us, and gives us a good point to push on for 2013. Apple, by the number, has been a good year for them too, although some people said it looked gloomy. I don't know. Sure, growth has slowed. When you look at growth quarter on quarter, it's definitely slowed, but it's been a massive year for them in terms of sales. Huge year. But stock did fall ever so slightly. But it has been a massive year. Increased competition has been blamed. But of course, Apple have been selling a lot of cheaper products now, as opposed to selling the big $2,000-3,000 products. It's all around $1,000 now. And a lot of that really has come from iPhone sales, and of course iPad sales for that matter also. But when you start to see the importance iPhone has in the overall sales of Apple, you start to think, well, you're not selling $3,000 products anymore, it's now $1,000. But iPhone now accounts for 56% of Apple sales, with iPad in 20%. So of those two, shall we say, mobile devices, although iPad you could argue is a computer, it's just more easy to carry around, account for 76% of all Apple sales, which is pretty big. Facebook and Google lead the mobile charge. And this is a similar picture to here, but when you look at time spent on mobile devices, like I've said before, it's nearly all spent with mobile apps. Looking at the users here now, Facebook accounts for 23% of time spent on mobile apps. 23% of that time is spent. With Facebook, 3%. And then of course Google all the way around, and all other apps accounts for 64%. But yeah, great result for Facebook. When you look at the amount of users, this is in America, for instance, 85 million people now in America. When you look at here in NZ, there's over 1 million people are now using Facebook app in New Zealand. And then of course Google has a lot of users also. M-commerce from mobile standpoint will start to take hold, and it will start to take hold here in NZ also. But in the US and UK now, it's 5 to 10% of total sales come through mobile, which is huge, and it's going to continue to grow. But when you think in the US, like last year, $13 billion worth of sales came through tablets, 9 billion came through smartphones, and that is continuing to grow year on year at a huge rate. When you think in 2016, it's going to be around $80 billion worth of sales will come through tablets and smartphones. It's massive. And again, with the US, penetration is rising. I mean, this year it's going to hit 62%, and then there's going to be over 100 million people digital shopping. Over the ditch is a similar sort of picture. Where you think in 2012, 53% of mobile users had a smartphone. This year it'll be 66. That's similar to here. Around here in NZ we're going to be over 50. But so many people now, of course, are shopping online. Granted, there's still some concerns about security, but hey, the internet had the same problems when it launched, and all the big players are now into mobile payments, so it's something that I would definitely get on board with, and I have obviously been preaching that for a while now, the importance of getting involved. Here's an interesting stat for you. Nissan in America have said that 20% of their digital sales leads come through mobile web. That's huge, and if this is an area that you're not playing in, you could be losing a shed load of potential opportunities. So, if you are not yet in the mobile space, and I know most people aren't, most brands aren't, 3 things that I would say you must do in the year of 2013. Get a mobile site. Get a mobile site. When you think that 60 to 70% of people are using a mobile device whilst watching television, if you're making a brand ad, you need to get a mobile site. Because the experience on a mobile device of going to a non-mobile optimized site is quite poor. You will lose a lot of traffic and you will lose a lot of opportunity. The other thing, set up mobile search. Pretty much everyone who's watching this will have search running for their brands. Get mobile search running as well. We've been doing it now for a lot of our clients and it's performing very well. And start running mobile ads. Just dip your toes in. Interaction rates are higher on mobile devices than they are on desktop. Just get started. We can help with that. Google Plus takes second spot. Yes, indeed. This is global internet users. 52% of all global internet users are on Facebook in the last month. So big. But 26% for Google Plus. They're doing very well. Now surpassed YouTube. And Twitter is on a rise, up over 20% now for Twitter, which is good for them. Didn't think MySpace would be as high as it is, but poor Bebo down there at the bottom, about 2% of people now on Bebo. With the arrival of Facebook graph search, while sticking to social and keeping on Facebook for a little bit, here's 5 things I think you should probably think about with graph search coming. Get all your physical locations onto your Facebook page. This is really important because if people are searching for certain things like certain stores in certain areas, and you may well be a national retailer, but if your Facebook page just has your corporate address on it, you won't come up in search results if people are saying searching, I don't know, Harvey Norman's in Wellington. It's not going to come up. Very important to get them all on there. Tell your employees to clean up their pages. Yes, indeed. If someone's searching for people who work at ASB or 2 Degrees, or, and some of your employees come up, it might not be searching for employees, but your employees' pages could well come up against someone searching for your brand. If they have something on there that's a little bit risky, it might be detrimental to your brand. Log into Facebook as your brand name and go to relevant pages. Look at those relevant pages because they are relevant to people who also like you. So people will start to search for relevant brands. Start to think about this sort of thing now because relevancy is always very, very important. So start to think about the other things that your friends and your fans like. Because people will be starting to cross-reference you with other things they like. So worth thinking about that. The other thing is don't go chasing likes anymore because you want authenticity is so important now because you want people who are going to be saying good things about your brand. People search your brand, you don't want people saying detrimental things, you want good things to be done, you want advocates to be talking about you, not people who just came to like you because they thought they might win a car. Get your employees involved. Yes, indeed, get your employees to make use of Facebook lists. Everything you do as a brand, be it launching a campaign, supporting charity, doing a new product, helping out a good cause, get your employees to like this and add it to lists so that when people search it, this sort of results come up. The more people who like this sort of thing and the more people who add you to lists, the better your results will be. Just some thoughts. Also worth thinking about, I read an interview over the weekend by Larry Page, who's the CEO of Google, and he talked about the importance of moonshot innovation. Things that disrupt or create entirely new categories will be vital to their success and growth in the future. This is what Google say. True, but you should be thinking about this for your business too. Incremental improvement is guaranteed to be obsolete over time, especially in technology, but this could be the same for everything. Don't make increment. Where you know there's going to be non-incremental change, do something that's going to be more than just incremental change. What he went on to say then was, we want to be a tremendous research organization. Research is vitally important. Again, making good use of data. Understand your marketplace, understand your competition, understand your customers, understand your potential customers, understand your audience. All good. And be focused on commercialization. Yes, indeed, we're all here for the bottom line, right? Success is always driven in terms of how much money. Marketers, it may well be some engagement measures in there, but hell, all comes down to sales, right? But again, my takeout from this is always push yourself to keep doing things better. Don't do everything just in your category. Don't do everything that everyone else is doing just because everyone else is doing it. Do something that shakes up the category, that makes a difference. You will be more successful. Internet Explorer began quite a while ago, and here's something for you people that grew up in the 90s.
You might not remember us, but we met in the 90s. We are members of Generation Y, as in yin yang, yo-yo. Life moved a little slower. Discs were square, desktop folders had personality. Extra storage space was just a zipper away. There was only one social network, but most of your friends died of dysentery. The only thing buzzing in your pocket was a pen. Until that died too. But at least the troll was still a friend. Lunch was a puzzle, not a picture. You were pumping jams, water, shoes. You didn't have to worry about a news feed full of farm animals. You were busy feeding wild animals. A haircut didn't cost $60. It cost 4 minutes. You really had nothing to lose. Unless, of course, you were playing for keeps. The future was bright. You grew up. So did we.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It gets reminisce. Although I was probably really grew up in the 80s more so than the 90s. I know, 80s and 90s. Yeah, I guess I'm a Gen Y. You have a product. Another company has a complementary product. Here's a question. Have you ever thought about joining forces and advertising together? May not be a crazy idea. Particularly, I think this is a good thing, particularly for smaller brands, because you can make a bigger media budget for yourself. And also you can open up a lot more opportunity to sell with partnering with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brands. Anyway, it's a good idea. I think it's worth exploring. But here's one that big brands have done. Kind of like it.
Google search, vintage stores.
Well, the highways, they take longer, and you don't always pay to wander.
You have reached your destination. All right, something new.
I got it. Google search, florists.
And a fast train to catch us hard. And a big boat sometimes taking water.
You have reached your destination.
Okay, what's next?
685 Waller Street. Kelly has this great sapphire bracelet.
Borrowed and blue. I love it.
But an airplane is just too easy. And you see
You
me,
have reached your destination.
you see me.
You ready?
Ready? Google search, Muir Beach.
Back in the saddle, riding easy. And you'll see me when you see me. And I get there
So a nice ad
when I do.
of people
You
on
have
their way
reached
to a
your
wedding.
destination.
Tell all my friends.
But obviously partner with Audi. Good product placement for Audi. You wonder why? Why? Because Google Maps is now
Tell all
installed
my friends.
with voice on all new Audis. Nice, right? If the big guys can do it, why can't the small guys? It's certainly worth looking into. It's Super Bowl week for anyone who cares. And it's actually interestingly found out that more people in America care about the ads than they do about the game. It's a time of year where 30 seconds costs $3 to $4 million and ads are made for 10 to 20 million. Rather than showing you some good ones, I decided I'd show you some of the worst. But it's only a few, so don't go away just yet. Here's one.
New nose, $6,000. Lips, $3,000. New chest, $8,000.
Don't tell me. I never forget a face. Don't help me here.
It's amazing the changes you can make for a few $1,000s.
Bob? Bob Johnson?
Hi, Tom.
Imagine what Holiday Inns will look like when we spend $1 billion. Holiday Inn, on the way.
What the hell's a sex change got to do with hotels? My good God. Here's another.
The Brazilian rainforest, one of nature's most lush ecosystems. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Hurley. The rainforest is irreplaceable, yet rampant deforestation is threatening this natural treasure. But not all deforestation is bad, and since 100 of us bought at Groupon.com, we're all saving 50% on a Brazilian wax at Completely Bare in New York City.
Oh, Groupon, what were you thinking?
Great deals in your town.
And why get this early? I don't know. Anyway, that was one, but they did 3 of them in the same year. They would have spent 10 to 12 million just on spots. Here's another one, equally as stupid.
Mountainous Tibet, one of the most beautiful places in the world. This is Timothy Hutton. The people of Tibet are in trouble. Their very culture is in jeopardy. But they still whip up an amazing fish curry. And since 200 of us bought at Groupon.com, we're each getting $30 worth of Tibetan food for just $15 at Himalayan Restaurant in Chicago.
Never make light of something that big. What a bunch of doofuses. Look, here's another one.
Whales. The most spectacular creatures on the planet. Hi, I'm Cuba Gooding Jr. Today, their numbers are dwindling. Somebody's got to save them. But it's more fun watching them jumping, playing. And since 100 of us bought at Groupon.com, we're each getting an $86 whale watching cruise for just $49.
Save the money.
Yeah,
Great deals in your
not
town.
smart, I don't think. But
Groupon.com.
hey, and lastly, here's another one. Oh, it doesn't want to play. Oh, moving on. Moving on. The rise of social TV campaign. Yes, indeed. You're probably wondering what I'm talking about. But the audience helped shape the campaign's direction over time. Just talking about Super Bowl, there's a few brands, Coke being one of them, where they've teased the campaign, launched the campaign a couple of weeks ago, and they've asked consumers to talk about or help shape the ad that's going to then run in the TV show. In the Super Bowl. But again, a nice idea, but you want to let people feel that they're involved, that they're shaping the direction that brands or the story is going in. Which makes sense. And Coke aren't the only one doing this year, but I'm just going to show you an example of Coke's. We'll be interested to see how that one plays out, and of course how many people actually get involved. But it is that sort of thing, you know, you don't have to. I know here is a bit different because we don't have those marketing budgets that they have over there. But again, you know, you don't need to show everything in a 60-second TVC and be done with it. It could be something that goes over a period of a few weeks. Keep people entertained. It could be something that starts on television but then moves online. The narrative arc continues. You take people on a journey, on a story. Just a thought. Speaking about social, the rise of socially driven events is also coming. Now, you think consumers get to voice their needs and requirements and organisers obliged accordingly to deliver the right kind of event. Sounds the way things should be done, right? Yes, indeed. NASCAR are taking it a step further for their, opening race, the first exhibition of the race of the year. Fans, through a mobile app, will get to choose the race format, race, number of laps, eliminations after a certain number of laps, pit stops, tyre changes, and even the Miss Sprint Cup outfit, to name a few. But it's a way of getting, because NASCAR obviously do an awful lot in the social space. But again, a good example of people getting their fans to be involved in how something is set up and run, or how the story progresses and continues. But it's a nice idea of getting people closer to the action and feeling like they have a say in how the things they love are run. A nice idea. And advertisers make use of the ad break. Who would have thought? When you think about only 14% of people are doing nothing but watching TV whilst their TV is on. Most people are off doing something else during the ad break. But here's an advertiser telling you what to go and do during the ad break.
по-настоящему благодарен рекламе. Колбаса языковая от Черкашина. Рекламные паузы, созданные для нее.
That's right, you don't watch a TV ad, you go and get some meat. Something new and something lovely from Guinness. This is the last thing from me this week. I will see you next week.
I have decided to be more than just a